Abaye said, Hareini ki benazai shuk etveya. That's memhei amid aleph, 3 lines from the bottom. I explained what that. Let's just repeat it again. Benazai was a very big Talmid Chacham, and sometimes he would challenge the people that they should try to stump the rabbi. So he would say, whoever wants to ask a question. So now, Abaye said, I am like Benazai in the Shuk Tzvayim, and whoever wants to ask a question can ask a question. So there was one of the Rabbanim said to him, Abaye, I have a question. Shnei Chalolim zeh agav zeh. If there are 2 people that were killed, and they're laying one on top of the other. So we're talking also when we get to Egra Rufa. In Egra Rufa, we talk that Ki Motze Cholo B'Adama. So it has something to do with Egra Rufa. Mehechen Hu Moeded. From where do you begin to count, to measure? What's the shayla? It's a 3-way shayla. One shayla is Min b'minay habitama. Do we say that min b'minay is considered tamun? That means that listen, we learned before a din by Ega Rufa that if it's nimsa tamun, so it doesn't, it doesn't apply to Ega Rufa. The question now is, does min b'minay mean that the bottom one is tamun, or does it mean that it's one, just a double-sized person? What would be if let's say there was, you could have a molar person that the chola was a very skinny person, and you could have the chola was a very heavy person. So over here it's min b'mina. So we want to know, is min b'mina considered tamun, or min b'mina lehabitzof? In other words, min b'mina is not considered one is on top of the other. It's all like one.
It's on
it's like one heavy person.
No, but the Tzaf was talking because we had one case when the Tzaf came in Mayim. So he wants to know if one of them.
Now we want to know.
On the ground.
The second person, the top person is Tzaf.
We have before a Shara in the Gemara.
It says min b'mine.
Well, we have before Shara in the Gemara. Then they get the bundles. If one bundle was laying on another bundle, so we had a Shara, is it maybe considered soft because it's in the air? So that's the question over here.
Is the second body?
Is it considered like one, or
is it Tzaf?
And if that's the case, ume'alyan moeded, you measure from the top one, because
it's one big, one piece, one
gush. It's considered like one.
One gush.
Oy dilma, or should we say, min b'minoi habitzof, that even if it's both the same, it's not the shot that it's a 400-pound person. No, it's considered 2 separate people. Umin b'minoi lo habitomun, and it's not considered that it's tamun, that the bottom one is not considered tamun, b'meila mitach moeded. Because from the top one you can't, because he's soft. So you count from the bottom one because he considered a separate thing. It's not considered tamun. He's not under a heap of stones.
The bottom one is not considered, with the body, the second body on top, not considered to be
it's
under.
It's not on the ground. Ki motzi cholol b'adama.
Right.
It has to be straight on the ground, and it's not on the ground.
The second guy, but the bottom guy is on the bottom. Now that the second guy is on top of him, maybe that's like Avanim.
That's the question. Is it considered? Is it considered tamun or not?
Yeah, he said not min.
No, tamun is in the ground. It's also not good. It has to be only on the ground. In the ground.
Oh yeah, right. So why is he?
Oy Dilma. There's another way to go. The other way to go is that min b'mina havi tomen, even if it's the same. In other words, so it's still the bottom one's considered tomen, and min b'mina havi tzof, and the top one's considered floating. So if that's the case, so you don't measure. Let me talk then.
Well, that's what I was asking. That's what I want to bring out.
So it's a three-way. It's a three-way shy over here. That was the shy that was placed before Ben Azai. So Ben Azai has to give the answer now. Abaya has to give the answer.
Because you don't know where to measure it?
So
we want to know if you have to measure, and if you have to measure from where. We don't know if it's
Zot Abaya Tani Tua. There's something that we learned, and from the thing that we learned, we could try to solve some of your questions. What did we learn? We learned, we're going back to the Gemara, what we learned in the Gemara. If he had a bundle that he was planning to take it, and by forgotten, he left it over there on another bundle. And forgot about it. So we learned to say, Hatachton Shikha, the bottom one is Shikha, Va'elyon ain't a Shikha. And the top one is not, the bottom one is considered Shikha. In other words, it's not considered Tamun. Va'elyon ain't a Shikha because it's considered Sof. The Shimon ben Yehuda Omer, Mishum Rav Shimon, Shneim Einem Shikha. They're both not Shikha. Hatachtem et Neshehu Tamun, Va'elyon Neshehu Sof. Okay, we always such a dip. So Savrua, the Chachamim that heard about this Baraisa, they thought the Hani Tanoi, they both hold Rabbi Yehuda, Sviruhu. In other words, that Tamun is Potter. Rabbi Yehuda is the one that holds that Tamun is Potter. The Omar Besada proper Tamun. So what's the dispute over here? My Rabbi Hakam Mifagi, the Masav remember Mina Habitaman, Umasav Lay Habitaman. In other words, the question is it considered the bottom one? Is the bottom one considered Taman or not considered? If the bottom was considered Taman, so then it's not Shikha. If it's not considered Taman, it is Shikha. So L'chayda, this would solve the question that we had before, that it would be comparing it to the Shnei Chalalim. And we go with the approach that Taman is Potter. Zot the Gemara. Ike Rabbi Yehuda Sviruhu. If they would hold like Rabbi Yehuda, that there's a difference of Tamun, that Tamun is a different din, the Kula Alma Min B'Minayin Havi Tamun. Then everybody would agree, there wouldn't be a Machak, everyone would agree that Min B'Minayin is Tamun. So if Min B'Minayin is Tamun, so there wouldn't be a Machakas. V'hoch over here, the reason that there's a Machakas is because the Plukta, the Hani, the Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbanan, Kamipagim, they're arguing the same Machakas of Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbanan if Taman is Potter. If there's a din of Taman. The Rabbanan, Kirabanan, the Rabbanan hold like the Rabbanan, that Taman is not Potter. The Rabbi Shimon ben Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda, and Shimon Yehuda holds like Rabbi Yehuda that Taman is Potter. So that was his answer to that question. If the argument is about Taman, my area agabi chaveira. Why does he tell you the din of Taman would be the same thing if there's a mess laying and there's stones on top of him? Why does he chap on agabi chaveira? So he says, my area afilu ba'afar ubetzor nami, even if there was earth or pebbles on top of him, would be the same thing. So Gemara says, you're right. For the din to let us hear the din of Talmud, it's not negay what's
it's
on
two
top
bodies
what's
or
on
not.
top of him. But the idea of Rabbi Yehuda, he wants to hear the chiddush of Rabbi Yehuda to Omar Afila min b'mina habi Talmud. That even min b'mina, you would say it's like one
Body.
person of a bigger weight. But no, he says it's considered Talmud. So he wants that's why he clapped on the marshal that there's one on top of the other to let you hear that chiddush.
So you answered half a question.
Answer half a question. I said, if you see Rashi on top, Rashi said that this answers a half of the question.
Talmud, what's a shot Talmud?
What's shot Talmud? Talmud is hidden.
Buried in the ground.
So it's
We
hidden.
talked about before that if a person was found underneath a pile of stones, so now that's called Talmud.
Yeah, but a person, how is it a person?
So if
when a
one
person-
person's covering another person, maybe it's the same thing like a pile of
You
stones.
don't bring an egla rufo on someone that was found dead. which
But he was-
not on the ground.
He wasn't
in the
exposed. If he was buried in,
So you're
underneath
saying
something,
if
he-
someone is on top of him, then you could need to bring
ground.
it.
That's also covered. So that's the question.
the question is it covered, considered by another person, or there has to be something
You see
different?
two bodies. You don't see Talmud. You don't see covered. You see two bodies.
Well, if it's a big person, it's covering a smaller person, so it's covered just like rock
Oh, it
covers.
needs to be a big person.
Obviously, if it's a little thin guy, a little baby on top of a big body, it's not covered. Talking about a person who is large enough to cover him.
Something about Tana Rabbanan. Cholo, v'lei chanuk. Cholo means that he was killed with a metal object. Not that he was strangled. And cholo, v'lei mefarfer. Chol also means that he's dead, but not that he's like a goisus. And ba'adoma, from the way about Ikshet Kimotza Chol ba'adoma, ba'adoma teaches you b'loi tomim b'gal. Neufel teaches you b'loi tolu be'igun. And Basoda teaches you b'loi tzof al pnei hamayim. That's how the Rabbanan. So the Rabbanan comes out that the only case how it could be a egla rufa is someone that was killed with a metal object, a chol.
And he's laying on the ground.
Rabbi Lezer says, Bekulan, all these cases that you mention now, I don't agree with you. That I hold im hoya chol erfim. If a let's say he's hanging on a tree, but you can see that he was killed with a sword. So then there is a din of egla rufa.
Even though it's not allowed.
You have a machlokes between if there are exclusions or any type, as long as it's a chol. Something more tiny when the Brisa, Omer Rabbi Yosef by Yehuda, they said to Rebbe Lezer, I ata moida she'im hoye chonuk umutu ba'ashpa she'ein arfim. What would you say that if he was not there was no metal object,
He was strangled.
but it was you would say that it's potter. I mean, it doesn't apply to Egla Rufa. Almost so we see that you dash a chol b'lechonuk, right? I would say if you dash a chol b'lechonuk, hachinama go to the rest of it. V'adama b'leitam b'gal, and nafal b'leitolu b'ilum, and sada b'leitzopa gabi amayim. Dr. Belezer, I don't agree with you. In a chinami, I admit that if he was chonuk, it would be potter. I mean, it wouldn't apply to din of Egla Rufa, but still, I hold that the main thing that depends is on cholo. That's the only thing that I dash in this pasuk. That if it's a cholo, so any way you find them is the same din, because cholo ksiva, you say the ksiva. There's a few in the parsha of Egla Rufa. The word cholo is repeated a few times. Is a simon that they insist on being cholo, but they don't insist on Adama and Soda and that they don't. As long as it's cholo, so that's the din. Then the Mishnah said that nimsa samach l'sfar, if you found them near the boundary, Oy ve'ir sheruba oy ve'kachavim.
We don't do it.
Yeah, so what's the reason? So then there's no din agoru. What's the reason? Except ki yimotzei, prat lemotzu. Ki yimotzei means that you found
By chance.
You found something that it was something not unusual. But in these other, it was near a city of Goyim, they're murderers, and near the boundary also, people can come out and then run away, run back to their place if it's near the boundary. Then it said, "Over here, she'ein bo bezin." What's the reason? She'ein bezin? Because the beina ziknei here v'leko. Because it said that you have the ziknei here.
You don't have
no
any.
bezin. Then it says in the Mishnah, "Ein moedin elu here she'ein bo bezin." It's like a redundancy. If it says you have to have a bezin for Shem Shneitel, you only measure the cities of bezin. Something more shita. You just told me that you have to measure the place of the bezin for Shneitel. Why are you repeating over here? Kiva the Tonu is shein bo bezin. I know you're done. I'll know that ain't more than el is sheyesh bo bezin. So why do you repeat it? And for the Gemara Hokam Mashmalom, he wants to hear chiddush. Kiddusanya minayin sheim nimtzu samach is shein bo bezin. Shemanichan oisat umayden is sheyesh bo bezin. In other words, we might think that if there's no bezin near, then the whole thing falls off. No, the Mishnah told there's no bezin near. Then you measure to
go in the other direction.
The next one, what? Talmud Leimer, v'lo zikna ahu mikol makom. That's a chiddush. First he says that you measure to the bezin, and ein moedin el yeshesh, meaning if in case the first one is not, then you go to the second bezin. Okay. Now we're going to a Mishnah like this. Nimso, we talked before about measuring. So tomorrow, Nimso mechuvim ben shtei ayoros. If it's exactly between two cities, is the din is a shtei mevias shtei agoris. Divrei Rebbe Elazar. They both bring. Ve'ein Yerushalayim mevia ego arufa.
That's a side
And
issue.
Yerushalayim, the din doesn't apply by Yerushalayim. The Gemara will soon say later. Nimtzu roisha b'makom echad v'gufa b'makom echad. If he was the decapitator, I think the word is,
Yes.
that they chopped off the head, and you find the head and you find the rest of a body. So the din is, to what do you measure? Do you measure to the body or do you measure to the head? So the din is, Maglichan haroish eitzel haguf, and that's how you measure. Divrei Rebbe Elazar. Rebbe Kiva Omer, haguf eitzel haroish. The opposite. Now, question is, which part of the body do you measure from the foot? Do you measure from the head? Which one? Something more. Me'ein hoya moedinim. Rebbe Elazar metiburay. Because like I explained when we went before, tibur is the center of the body. And Rebbe Kiva mechaytmai from the nose. The Gemara will give a reason why. And Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov mimokum shenasa chol, which is mitzavare. How did they kill him? That's how they killed him, with a sword. They cut his neck.
Mitibur, is it pupik? What's a mitibur?
No, Tibur is.
So?
My time, now, in the Mishnah we learned that if they find mechuvim between two,
Exactly.
so they so
Make
the
two.
Gemara, my time of the Rebbe Elazar, why is the I'm sorry, no. In the Mishnah we learned that Divrei Rebbe Elazar. So my time of the Rebbe Elazar, Hakasaba, he holds Efsha L'tzamtzem Ukroiva Vafil Ukroivus. In other words, there is such, it could be a precise thing. You say it can't be the same thing. Can't be both are the same. So Rabbi Elazar holds Efshel Tzamtzum, and B'meila, so being the Efshel Tzamtzum, so
possible
to
to
say
be
the
exactly.
Kraiva means a fill of Kraivas, not, it doesn't have to be after one bezin, it could be a fill of two. V'ein Yishalayim Mevi Egarufa. If it came out close to Yishalayim or in Yishalayim, so they wouldn't bring an Egarufa, the Amakro, L'rishto. Shteki Motzachol Badoma, which I gave you L'rishto. I gave you to Yashin. And Kosobe holds, Yishalayim when it's Chakul Shvatim. Yishalayim is everyone's. Then it says Nimtza Roshai b'Mokam Echad. So we have here Machaikas. If you take the Rosh to the Guf, you take the Guf to the Gemara. But my Kamifugim, what is the argument? Ilay Magani Medida Kamifugim. Hamida Tani Sefer Me'ain Hoya Maidadim Mikal Dereisha Rabbi Medida Askinan. Later in the Mishnah, it says later from where do you measure? Is a simon that when they're talking about the head and the
They're
body,
not talking about measuring.
it's talking about something else. Amar Rabbi Yisrael, the mes mitzvah kona mekaymai kamifugim. The din is that a mes mitzvah means if you found someone and there's no one who's asking, so it's kind of his place that you could bury him, that you bury him there. The shaga is
Which place?
which place is
Is it the head or the
do you
feet?
bury him where the head is, or do you bury where the goof is? V'hachikam l'kayver b'negeh to bury him kona mekaymai. That's normal. So then, Maricham Haraish Eitzra Guf de Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Kiva Ima Haguf Eitzel Haraish. Okay, so we explained the Mishnah. Now the Gemara says, so what's the reason? Why does one hold that you bring the head to the goof, and one hold you bring the goof to something was that by my kamifagi, ma sava gufa beduchte nafel, and reishay the nodi benafel. In other words, that when Chash V'Shalom, when they killed him and they cut off his head,
It rolled away.
the body collapsed over there, and the head rolled. Umasova, Reisha, Hecha the Nafo. In other words, when they chopped off the head, that's where
The head
that's where it fell. And Gufa, Kivan, who the Rod also, he still, the body had still power to, even though without the head, to run a little bit. And B'mela, so you can't go according to where the body is. Now it's said in the Mishnah, from where do they measure? So we have also Machagas, we have a Machagas of it, from where you measure. Zot the Gemara b'Maika Mifugi, and what is dependent this Machagas? The Gemara says that Masova, one holds, Ike Chayusa Ba'ape. The main source of life is in the nose. Umasava, Ike Chayusa B'Tibure. That the main source of life is in the tip of the navel. In fact, the Gemara, Reimo Kihani Tanoi, that this Machagas that we have over here is similar to another Machagas of Tanoim. What's the other Machagas? There is a Machagas, Behechen Havrad Noitza. From where is the creation of the embryo, and then later it forms into a body. So one holds Meirosha. And how do we know? Why they say Meirosha? V'cheinu I'm mim'ei imi ata gozi. V'oim Gezin, Zicho, Vashlichi. So it has to do with the head. And Abisholem and Mitiburai, that's where it starts from. Umashalach Sharosha, and it sends roots. Elach ve'elach, to the top and to the bottom. So it would seem that these two Machaikasin, one was talking about Egarup and one was talking about the creation of a child, are the same. So the Gemara, no. Afilatema Abishol, even if you say like Abishol, that what? That it's Mitiburai, that the series of what is Mitiburai, Alkain Loi Lekoma Abishol Elin Yitzira. When did Abishol say when to creation? The Chim Mitzvah Mimtzios Mitzvah, because when the Vlad gets created from the middle, and that's the middle point of the body. But when you're talking about the source of life, the Kuli Alma, the Ape, it's in the nose. The Ksiv, Kolash and the Shoma, Nishma Zuch, Chayim, Ba'apov. So you can't compare. Say that if you hold over there that way, you hold over here. They say, no, it depends what subject you're talking about. And Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov Omer Mimokum Shenasa Cholo. Why does he say that means the neck or the throat? Mitzavore, from the throat. My time with Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, Kediksiv, the law says, Oisra al Sabre Chalalu Rishoyim. Also that you will take over, you will kill the Rishoyim, and it says Savore, the next. Okay, now let's go to the next mission. Talk the Mishnah. Niftaru Zikra Yisrael, V'holchu Lahem. We said that there has to come out this Canaan from the Bezna Godel, and okay, we had different numbers. If it's 5, if it's 3, if it's more, and there also there's a Canaan from that city. So he says, Niftu Ziknei Yisrael. Well, after the Ziknei Yisrael leave, Ziknei Oyser Ir Mavin Eglas Bokum. They bring a calf. Asher Le Moshe Ba'ol, that never had a yoke on it. Ve'eina mum paisum bo. And if it has a mum, it's still kosher. Umeiriden oiso the nachal eison, and they bring it to nachal eison. So the Gemara eison kamashmoi kosher. It means it's a hard earth over there. Apapish Eina Eisen is also kosher. The Orpin Oisa Bekupitz, they take like a big axe, right? They knock it from the back, Macharev from the back. Umakaimo.
And the place that they do this whole thing.
Umakaimo also Lizraya, Umilavet, and the place where they did this to the calf, you're not allowed to plant over there, and you're not allowed to work over there.
But this place where they put it had nothing to do with the location of the person who was killed.
No.
It's another place.
It's by the place where the person was killed.
No, but he's telling you to go to Nachal. Huh?
Closest place will find it.
Nachal Eisan is not the name of a place. It's a place where water is, or it's called Nachal.
No.
But the Navi talks about Nachal Eisan.
It is water. Nachal Eisan is water
I know,
in a hard place.
But you have to go to Nachal Eisan or any water.
There can be more than one.
The Gemara said that it's not a must. It's just
Yeah, I understand that, but
so we'll soon see. There is Taichin in the Gemara. What's the shot? Later in the Gemara on Memvav on the base. Umuta Lisrek Sham Tishtan. But you
okay, so
you gotta comb over the Tishtan. Ulanaka Sham Avonim. In other words, it means that you can't plan.
But you do other works
you,
there.
you gotta sit there and do work over that. You're allowed to.
Work that is not dependent on the ground.
Zikne Oyser, the elders from the city, that was the closest city, Reichsen Eshedeim B'mayim, they wash their hands in water. B'mokem Arifa Shel Egor, they walk over the place where they chop. Over there, they wash their hands. V'oimim, and they say, Yedeinu l'shavchos Adom Hazeh, v'neinu l'ro. Fractic Gemara. Why? How could they make such a statement? All our Datenu would we think that also would come up on our mind. Shezikne bezin shefka domim. Ella mean shelebo al Yadenu. We never saw him. But the rule, not that we never saw him, and we didn't
let him
give
go without
any
food.
of his needs. We never saw him. And we let him go away just all on his own.
It means he could have died. Even he could have died from the bezin if he did. The bezin knew that he needed help, and he didn't help him.
So they say that they say we know
didn't know, we
nothing
never
about.
saw him, we don't know the person.
We're totally innocent. The kohenim that are there say, tefillah, kapel amcha Yisrael, asher padiso, v'atitin dam noki b'kerev amcha Yisrael. And then it says, v'ni kapel lahem adom. It says in the pasuk. So the Gemara, they don't say, if they don't say these words, El Ruach HaKodesh Mevasrosom She'emesai Shetasu Kva Hadom is Kapel Lahem. It comes out a Baskal B'nai Shemayim that says that being that you went through this process, so you'll be forgiven. Okay.
Okay, Shkar, thank you very much.